It is the Riot Podcast. I am Hudson. Nikki has joined me.
Hello.
And she's joined me for the whole show today, as she often does.
I was going to say, it's never
She
not
just
that way.
happened to stop in. It was very convenient.
Thanks for having me in for the podcast intro as well.
We should make this an everyday thing.
Thank you guys for listening too. Hopefully you're ready for a new podcast today. And before you start...
If you aren't, just stop right now.
You really clicked on the wrong thing then. But we're glad you did. But make sure you text and say, hey, or if you hear something during the podcast we want your opinion on, or if you find something that you want us to cover in the podcast tomorrow, text us a link at 877-RadioU and put that you're a podcast listener and what your name is.
And if you would like, we always love to see reviews and people unsubscribing, resubscribing, and then boosting us up the rankings.
Yeah,
I got
helps.
a new review.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Yay.
5 stars from somebody who I'm convinced made their username have so many zeros because they wanted to hear me try to pronounce the correct number, which I'm not going to do.
Well, you know who you are.
Yeah.
Thank you for the nice review.
It's LW something. They gave us 5 stars, 4 thumbs up, and said, I love this podcast.
Aww.
It's great and makes me laugh. So thank you, LW.
Thank you.
Yeah, so... yeah, we're doing something right.
Well, leaving reviews and then always subscribing and stuff, that helps us just get out there to more people.
It boosts us up the rankings.
It
More people
does.
see it. And you can just tell your friends, too. So in the podcast today, we talk about how Canada is opening up their borders. And this time it's real, they say. This time they've set a date and they're sticking with it, it sounds like.
I don't know. Just setting a date doesn't mean it's happening yet.
Yeah,
but I guess we'll see.
We'll see is the actual perfect term for that. Let's see. Oh, we talk about how CNN is the next in the streaming service world. They've got their own offering that they're putting out there.
And we talk about how they don't have much details beyond it, and including they don't have like what pricing would be. I would just be so curious what they think pricing for CNN
what they
Plus
think
would
people
be.
will pay.
My gosh, like... If you even tried over $5, like that's even too much. So I don't know. We'll talk more about it.
It's almost insulting that they think
That's
people
how
are
I
going to
feel.
pay for a CNN streaming service. Nobody wants to pay for regular CNN. Let's see. The surprising new place where you can now get plant-based meats.
Ooh, where's it at?
It's a mystery. You have to wait and be surprised with us.
We will unveil a new plant-based option.
And we also have a breakup over Black Widow, and you can decide for yourself if you think the story is real or fake because it was posted on Reddit. But either way, we hope it's real because it sounds like a funny story.
Well, you hope it's real, but then also you don't because you don't want someone breaking up for such a reason.
Yeah, but
listen to the reason and then tell us what you think.
Yeah, and if it is real though, then it's good that the breakup is happening now and not further down the line.
Yeah, before it got too serious.
Yes, right. So there's all that and more. You're going to have to listen in to see what you find.
Text hello at 877-RadioU and enjoy everything for today.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
I wanted to talk about how Oreos is now offering you the opportunity to actually hide your Oreos from the kids.
I was seeing the packaging with it.
Yeah.
But it was all like Oreo Thins, which I wouldn't want to take from someone anyway.
You wouldn't want them, and the kids wouldn't want them, I guess. I don't know. So maybe it's not that very helpful. They need to make the discreet packaging for the double stuffed.
Well, they need to make it for the limited edition flavors. So then that way no one's taking your special flavors that you happen to find.
They need to come out. So they do have this discreet packaging where it's Oreo Thins, but if you turn it on its side, like cleverly position it, it's Oreo Thins for like 3/4 of the package, but there's one panel of it that will either say Green Giant Riced Veggies or Hanes 3-pack tagless T-shirts or a Ford truck, which I don't even get. Like, why would you have a bag with a Ford truck on it?
It's an owner's manual.
Oh, that's right.
That sort of
if
thing.
you look closer. Yeah. So, and then you have a new look book.
A cookbook.
Yeah. So, new cookbook. So, So I'm trying to read here on the fly. And so the idea is you put these somewhere where you can't see the Oreo part of the packaging, and then other people unsuspecting won't know. That's where you're stashing your Oreos.
Sure.
We need these for the RadioU studio, where just like you said, we can hide all of these special Oreo flavors we get. But what could we disguise them as where everybody else here would not be wiser?
I guess you could do like some sort of manual for some of the equipment we have in here. That might be it, because no one wants to learn anymore.
No, absolutely not.
They need to when it comes to like our new board or monitors and stuff. Maybe that. I think that would probably be the easiest.
The thing is, we don't even need to like disguise them. There's so many places here at the RadioU studios that nobody goes 95% of the time.
Oh, you could just stick it there.
Just unused parts of the bill. I have in my office a file cabinet that has not. You can tell the stuff in that file cabinet has been there since the 80s, it looks like, which is before RadioU was even here. There's like 8-track tapes in that file cabinet. I swear.
Do you know in the bottom was I think that was the snack drawer. There used to be one for like upstairs.
I think that part was cleaned out before I took over,
it's long
of course.
Gone.
There's still a lot of other stuff in there, though. So I feel that if we put the Oreos in that file cabinet, if we really were having an issue, that's what we could do.
We're usually good at sharing, so I don't know if we need to.
Yeah, people are pretty good about not dipping into the food fight items before we actually food fight with them.
Yeah,
so because they know
us wait.
They know that they will be getting them eventually down the line.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
So it's up to you if you want to believe this or not, because it's on Reddit. So every story on Reddit, you always have to take with a giant chunk, one of those Himalayan salt lamps of salt.
Yeah, but I think maybe it's more than we realize. Like maybe it's not as bad. It's not as just, anybody posting anything.
Yeah, and sometimes, especially when it's one of these ones, it's not where it feels like it's supposed to be, where somebody's... Okay, with other stories that we deal with, you can tell where somebody's trying to get in the news.
Yeah.
But I think with people posting on Reddit, they're just posting. They're not doing it for the attention necessarily. So this is on the AITA Reddit, if you know what that stands for. And it is a young lady who says that her boyfriend broke up with her because she did not fully appreciate Black Widow.
That was why?
Yeah. She says, according to her, they had just watched Black Widow. He asked, what did you think? And she says, this is her quote, "I really loved the beginning, but towards the middle, all the action scenes seemed a bit messy and convoluted." So she didn't think she enjoyed it all that much.
And then overall, she didn't like it as much. And then they broke up?
Yeah.
Or he broke up with her?
The boyfriend got angry. She said... because this is her telling the story, he said she didn't understand some inside Easter eggs because she hadn't seen all of the other movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But she says she's seen them all except Infinity War.
Oh.
Yeah, so she should appreciate all the Easter eggs.
He called her a liar. We had to go and do that, didn't
because she hadn't really watched them. And because she hadn't sat down and watched them in order. So there's this
she called him a gatekeeper. I love it all. I just love it. See, this is why I just want Reddit things to be real. Because this is way better than reading any news story.
Yeah, of course it is. So, one, you don't think this is a ghost of Christmas future for you, is it?
Because I haven't
Eric
seen any
is
of
not going to get so frustrated one day after you actually take the time to watch Loki, and then you describe your thoughts to him, and he's going to be like, "You just don't get it. You haven't seen all the other Marvel stuff."
Well, I'm going to call him a gatekeeper, and he's going to call me a liar, and then that's just going to be it.
Yeah. But I feel that this guy, if this is a true story, this guy doesn't know what he's got. Like, he needs to count his lucky stars that he was dating this girl in the first place.
Because she wanted to watch watch it
She
with
watched
him.
all the movies, and she even gave such a thoughtful review as, I really loved the beginning, but towards the middle, all the action scenes seemed a bit messy. She used the word convoluted to describe a Marvel movie.
She seems pretty in on it.
She's a catch, it sounds like.
So they, looks like they broke up at that point,
Yeah.
or not together anymore, which, if this is real or not on Reddit, what would you do?
Yeah. Is it worth breaking up over a movie? I wonder how long they've been dating before.
Oh,
Maybe.
I feel like there were cracks in the foundation before they got
you're
to
totally
Black
right.
Widow.
You're totally right. If he's gatekeeping about Marvel, who knows what other things he's very...
There was probably a really long list that he was doing the same thing with.
Just don't even try to get her to watch Harry Potter. He probably has strong thoughts on that too.
He has thoughts on everything.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go through the comments. That's sometimes the best part about anything on Reddit.
Yes, I like this. I hope she lands on her feet and finds somebody a lot better than this guy who's more concerned with the Black Widow on the screen than the Black Widow in front of him
In
the whole
his
time.
heart.
In his heart. Yeah.
That's who really is the Black Widow there.
Yeah, that's right.
Kelton said totally not worth breaking up over.
No, it's not, especially this Marvel movie. If you want to break up because they don't appreciate Captain America and Winter Soldier, that's totally different. The movie, not the TV show, The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
But it's just not worth it.
For Black Widow.
Listen, you're paying Disney and you're letting them ruin your relationship.
Right.
So you can't break up like that.
Take it easy.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Have you looked at this survey yet, Nikki?
Which survey?
All right, so you haven't looked at it.
Let's take
That's
a
good.
look.
No, don't look.
Oh, don't look. Okay,
I want to ask you if you were to guess how many people or what percentage of people do not tip at restaurants, sit-down restaurants currently?
Oh, who do not?
Yeah, how many people you think don't
tip?
Don't tip at sit-down restaurants.
Maybe 10%?
10?
Yeah.
Aw, that's really sweet that you would think that people are that nice.
Better of us. Are we not doing that well?
You're very optimistic. 75% do tip, so 25% do not tip at restaurants currently.
Gosh, I think that would be so awkward to not tip someone.
Yes, and it's gone slightly down since 2019. So comparing, pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, we are now down to from 77 to 75%. 25% of people not tipping universally at sit-down restaurants.
Well, I guess if you got used to, even with delivery, you're supposed to, to tip and stuff.
I actually have for delivery,
but for curbside,
59% of people tip. It's even lower.
Oh, it is?
Which I understand with delivery, they almost always will have a delivery fee in there, but
Everybody
that is different than tipping. We always have to explain that.
Everybody
I don't really know why that exactly exists, because I used to do food delivery when I worked at a certain bread company.
Yeah.
And they would do the delivery fee, and then you as the delivery driver would get the fee and also the tip. So why even charge the fee? But just so I could get more money. But I didn't come up with the rules. I just went with them, and it worked out well.
They say if you're going out to eat more, you might need to familiarize yourself again with how we tip and the protocols that go with that.
Which in America we do.
Forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always sympathetic to the people that are like, well, we shouldn't tip anybody. It should be the employer's job to just pay them. You're right, but that's not how it works.
I know, because if you go to other countries, that is it. That you don't tip in every place.
Yep.
But we haven't overhauled our system yet. So you have to. That's not your call to just say, well, no, I'm not going to.
You can't just not tip out of protest, because then there's people that are slaving hard to get you your scrambled eggs at Denny's, and you're not. And they're making less than actual minimum wage, and you're not tipping them. They're working really hard for you.
They say, don't forget, tipping is not just at restaurants where you normally think first. If you get your hair done, food delivery, ride shares, hotel housekeeping, coffee shops, and more.
You tip the housekeeping? Like you leave a $1 on the pillow or whatever you're supposed to do?
I don't.
I've never done that.
I've never done that either, but it's on the list.
I've heard that, well, we're not alone. Only 28% of people tip the hotel housekeepers.
At the very bottom of the list is coffee shops. So if you get a lot of coffee, that seems to be where tipping is the least done.
Surprising to me, but at the same time, again, the reason you're supposed to tip the restaurant workers is because whoever came up with this system, they made it so that the restaurant's wait staff makes less money. They don't, like if the minimum wage is $10, they're making less than $10 an hour because they're supposed to factor tips into their regular wages. But that's not, if you're working at a coffee shop, that's not usually how it works.
No, you need that. Ben texted in, said I was a server for a couple of years. What was worse than no tip was to serve a large table and only get a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
I was served a table of 4 and received 54 cents.
Wow.
Served a table of 16 and only received a couple of dollars. That's awful because you're expecting a larger table. You're expecting then to get a bigger tip and you're not.
Right. It's more work for you. It's a lot of, it's difficult keeping track of those big orders and stuff like that.
Let's remember, we got to do better at tipping. Make sure you're tipping at all the places except maybe the hotel housekeeping. I don't know about that.
That's pretty weird.
That one's different, and we're not vacationing, so it's not like that's coming up.
As somebody who worked in food service, if you are working in food service, I'm sure you know this. It's like if you just expect nobody to tip, then it feels so much nicer when they actually do. Those little surprise tips. Yeah.
Lower your expectations.
I mean, that's actually really backwards, but if you feel like, I don't deserve to normally be making enough money. So I appreciate this gift.
Aww.
That's a little surprise.
Well, we're going to work harder, aren't we, everybody?
That's right.
Tipping better.
Yes, we all are.
This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
All right, who's ready for another streaming service?
Yay!
Woo!
I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, we've been so focused on so many of these other streaming services. It felt like maybe finally the river that was flowing of them is finally
ceased.
dried up, but not anymore. We've got a new one that you can add to your Roku stick. It's CNN Plus.
Oh.
Yeah, CNN Plus.
Oh.
Hey.
It's not even crickets. I feel like we should boo it.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever your feelings on CNN, who even likes CNN that much? I don't think anybody is out there like cheering for CNN.
Well, CNN is.
Thinking we need more of whatever you're doing there at CNN.
I like this article because that's what streaming services are called now.
Yeah, CNN Plus. It has to be Plus. I think it should be CNN Minus.
Yeah.
And it allows you to subtract things from CNN that you don't like until you get to a news network that's actually tolerable.
When it comes to news, a lot of times that's the free thing. You know, they just have it on whatever streaming service, and that's the free opportunity for you to watch Fox or CNN or whatever there is. And they don't have a specific launch date for its streaming service.
They don't seem to have a lot of specifics at all.
They don't.
They just picked out the name, which was easy. That's the easy part.
But they think it'll be in the first quarter of next year, and they are still trying to decide on how much it'll cost. Should be nothing. And let's see what else they say.
Well, they at least say when it launches, they don't have specific pricing, but they're not going to do an ad-supported version. So it's either you pay full price to get whatever, or you're not getting it.
So what would they actually put on it? I mean, I guess it does show that they have some shows that they air on CNN.
Yeah.
But they don't have, it's not like CNN owns another actual TV show network.
No. So they say, in addition to the on-demand stuff that you could normally watch on CNN, but like on demand. So, for example, Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, or United Shades of America, This Is Life with Lisa Ling. Those are shows that they would normally air, but you could watch all of them on demand, I suppose. But then in addition to that, you can also expect 8 to 12 hours of daily live and interactive original programming distinct from the other members of the CNN family.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible.
And then it will also create new films and shows, original films and shows for the service.
No offense if you like it, but I'd rather have Peacock. I'd rather have that.
I didn't know. I have watched occasionally CNN has like an interesting documentary series, but even that, who's paying for, you know what I really need? A streaming service that occasionally has a good documentary series. Let me add that to the list.
You're waiting on a lot.
Hey, I already pay $18 a month for that. It's called Netflix.
And at this point, Hudson's out of family members to pick who's going to have which streaming service to share.
Yeah.
They say, though, that CNN will not be creating a separate app for CNN Plus. Instead,
thank God.
If you
keep it all streamlined, please.
If you have,
you don't need to fragment your CNN fan base.
If you have the existing CNN app, that you would just log in to access the Plus content.
It doesn't even the timing doesn't make sense because like if you look at all of the ratings for all the news networks, they're plummeted ever since January. Like after all the election stuff was finally kind of put behind us, nobody's been paying attention to the news. Between the election and COVID, everybody's finally all newsed out, and we're just like, yeah, we can just like live life. We don't have to watch the news all the time.
Oh, no.
And it feels good.
CNN says watch. They want to. This will go great.
We can watch Loki. We don't need to watch Anderson Cooper or whatever.
You're basically listening to a real-time cringe compilation. This is The Riot on RadioU.
So if you don't have a young child in the house or a close family member, a niece, nephew that, maybe not quite started school yet, you might not be familiar, but Peppa Pig is one of the most popular children's shows.
I only know it because everybody makes like mean memes about.
Oh, yeah, that's
Peppa
true. Peppa is one of
dying.
the worst. Yep. It's one of the worst ones on YouTube. Yes. Of where they edit it so that it's all like gruesome murders and stuff.
So that's the only reason I know Peppa Pig.
Yeah. There used to be stories a couple months ago about how YouTube had to really crack down on all of that to make sure that kids looking for Peppa Pig weren't getting weren't coming across Peppa Pig murder videos.
All I know is when I would see a few, I'd be like, wow, is that really how it is in the cartoon? And then, you find out that no, it's manipulated, but you're still like, that is harsh.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But no, Peppa Pig is actually a British children's TV show. It's been around for a few years now, but according to Parrot Analytics, in the 12 months from February 2020 to February 2021, it was the second most popular, most watched cartoon in the United States. So it was very popular.
Even though it's more of a British show.
Yes, and that is why parents are noticing that their young children, after watching a lot of Peppa Pig, are starting to pick up on the vernacular.
Oh, for the British stuff?
Peppa Pig.
So if you come across your little brother starts talking British, in a British accent.
If he starts calling them zebras and says, give it a go.
Oh, and mummy.
Mummy. Or starts snorting like a pig,
then
it might be because he's been watching a lot of Peppa Pig.
Oh, that's kind of cute. They just say that, is one of the most binge watched, which is weird to hear for a kid's show.
Yeah, really.
Aww.
Well, they all had a lot of time at home during the pandemic. And it's probably hard to keep track of kids for that long.
See, I guess for me, I watch a few British shows and I don't pick up the language, but instead I'm just like, I have to look up sometimes what the word is.
Yeah.
Because I don't know it.
I think sometimes when I might very mildly pick up some of the terms that they use in
or the tone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. But, I've noticed that if I really get embroiled in a show where it's British.
Yeah.
That the voice, I was about to say the voice in my head. I'm not crazy, everybody, but just like my internal monologue.
Internal Hudson?
Kind of has a British accent to it. And, you don't.
No need to be worried.
You don't actually hear it, but just the way that I think becomes more British.
Hudson, are you hearing it?
No, that's what I mean.
Okay. It is inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fully functioning. I've got the proper medications and everything.
You're fine.
It's just that I can't watch Ricky Gervais shows anymore because
you'd pick up on it.
Right.
I kind of wish when I was younger I would have watched more, not something to give me a different accent, but just to actually learn another language.
Yeah, Dora the Explorer. If only that was ready for you.
Maybe, but something along like completely, like not even the show just doing both dual languages, just completely in another language.
Yeah, but that's what I think. Like people, it's funny, but they're kind of treating it as a concern. Like, oh no, they're learning to use British style of speak and the British pronunciations for things. And they're about to start school and stuff like that. So, oh no, it's kind of a problem. But that's exactly what you wanted with shows like Dora the Explorer. You're supposed to add, because you're at such a young age, your mind is more open. You haven't settled so much in the way you talk, and you have more room to grow, so you can learn more languages and stuff like that, or it's easier for you. Well, so it makes sense that Peppa Pig would start teaching kids how to talk British.
If not, they still said the number one cartoon last year was SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right.
So that also teaches everyone
that would be a concern.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Tonight is the night. At least it could be the night. It is the NBA Finals, Game 6, Suns and Bucks in Milwaukee, and it could be the night that the Bucks lift the trophy.
Oh, so they're ahead?
They are up 3-2 now. Tonight is the night where they may be able to wrap it up in front of their home crowd and win their first championship since, I don't know. Nikki, I want to hear your prediction.
Well, I'm wrong because I thought I picked the Suns. I can't remember.
You know what? If you can't remember, nobody else can remember. It's been long enough.
I think I picked the Suns because I was like, I've been to Phoenix. So I think I went with that.
Oh, you can't argue with that.
That's
can't argue with
logic.
that reasoning. Well, the Suns had gone up 2-0, and it looked like, this is going to be quick. And now Milwaukee has won 3 in a row, so they're 1 game away. Tonight could be the night.
I think I'm going to go with still the Suns.
Okay.
Should come back tonight, and then we're extending. We're doing more.
Yes, we get one more game after that.
I think that's what I'm going with.
I'm with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and the problem is the Suns have looked very tired in the previous games.
It's hot out.
It's hot. It's been a long season.
It has.
And Chris Paul, one of their best players, is 36 years old. So he's getting up there for a basketball player. He's not as old as LeBron, who won the championship last year at an older age.
He could outpace anybody.
No, he could outpace us, but not outpace the rest of the NBA.
Yeah, that's true.
If he's getting up there in years. But I think the Suns are they're not going to go. They're going to go down swinging.
Yeah.
So they got one more fight in them tonight, and then Game 7. All bets are off. But I'm looking forward to the game. The problem is it starts at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Well, what's the problem? Don't you want to stay up super late and watch that and be extra tired tomorrow morning?
Could it at least start at 8? And then it'd be over by like around 11, and I could get like 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep.
I'm sorry the NBA is not working around your schedule.
Yeah, don't they care about us?
Early morning people?
Us. Don't they want the morning shows to be able to actually watch? What about on ESPN? Is their morning show? They're not going to stay up and watch.
Well, I have a feeling
they're just going to be making it all up.
Well, this is their big days. They stay up during that time.
They start their day at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Probably.
Watch the game, stay up all night preparing for their show in the morning.
So I guess we'll see what happens with the finals tonight, and we'll obviously cover tomorrow. As if Hudson stayed up to watch all of it.
I'm going to try to stay up for a while.
But you don't have to. Why don't you just get up a little earlier tomorrow and just watch the highlights?
Yeah, that's probably what I should do.
No one has to watch the whole game.
Yes, you do.
You don't.
It's the experience.
No, it's not. The experience is you getting some sleep tonight.
We're completionists. And what we want to do is, whether it's a show, whether it's a
season,
artist discography, whether it's a game of basketball, we want to see from beginning to end, so we experience it in all of its glory.
Well, Hudson, that's nice of you. That means you haven't done mornings long enough, because your attitude will change pretty soon. Where you're like, I'm not watching any of it. Just show me the highlights tomorrow.
And think about all of the experience on Twitter that I would miss out on if I don't stay up and watch.
What are you even doing on Twitter?
Reading what everybody else thinks.
No, it's all
seeing
wrong.
their thoughts in real time.
No, waste your time with something else.
It's tonight. Like Cheers, the TV show, where we're all coming together as a community, and we all have thoughts on this thing, and we're all going to experience it together. A communal experience.
Listen, no one's going to want to experience it with you tomorrow morning, so why do you have to stay up and do that
that's
with
the
them
funny
tonight?
thing. Well, because I'm in the media, I need to relay what happened to them. So the people that can't go to sleep because they have to, they can't stay up and watch the game because they have to get up early like us.
There it is.
And they're out listening. They're counting on me to relay what happened to them, and I will do that.
Something to listen to when you meant to work out but tripped into a box of donuts. This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Coming to a Long John Silver's near you.
Woo!
You can get, for a limited time only, Good Catch plant-based seafood.
Their little tagline is, it's now a thing, crispy, flaky, crab-free crab.
Yes, crab-free crab, and this is an imitation crab. It's imitation crab.
So wait, does imitation crab then, is it not really? So
imitation crab is just fish.
It's just fish formed together.
Uh-huh.
It's good.
It is actually pretty decent.
And it's a lot of times all that we can really get.
And when it's in a crab cake, like you really can't tell.
Oh, no, you can't tell the difference.
Crab cake, as good as they are, it's not as much about the crab meat. I mean, at least if you're going to Maryland and you're getting like real, then the crab matters. But you can just make a crab cake at home and it'll get the job done.
They've been having these huge crab legs at Costco.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, gosh, they look so good.
Yeah?
But they're like $90.
Oh, no.
That's why I need the imitation.
You need a special occasion to come along.
Oh, not even that. I would just be too afraid I would ruin it, to try to make it on my own.
Yeah, that's true. It can be finicky.
So if you were into Long John Silver's and you're like, what I really want, though, is 2 new menu items. There's a plant-based breaded fish-free filet. And
that sound so good.
A plant-based breaded crab-free cake, and it's going to be at 5 locations in California and Georgia.
Man, that's disappointing.
Well,
I was looking forward to driving out to one of the Long John Silver's that aren't exactly convenient to us, but are in the area.
Are you sure you're not in Georgia, near Atlanta and Albany? And then in California, Bakersfield, Sacramento, and Clovis have the testing locations.
Yeah, not necessarily convenient. And I haven't been to Long John Silver's in so long. Out of all of the places, literally every single fast food restaurant you could name, Long John Silver's is the last one I would trust. They're not the last one I would eat at, but that doesn't mean they're not the last one I would trust to make a healthy, properly prepared meal.
I think I recall
in a timely fashion
going through a phase where I think they're called planks, like the fish or chicken planks.
Okay.
And then they have hush puppies.
The hush puppies are all right.
But all I liked was when you would get a big box, they would put all the crunchy stuff at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
That right there. Yep. That's unhealthy.
You don't need the fish. You don't need the chicken. All you need is little pieces of the beer batter.
Yes, that's exactly what I want. The deep fried crunchies.
Little Crispies. They should put that on the menu. We call them Little Crispies.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Which would also be a good rapper name if it's not one already. Little Crispy.
If you gave me a box of that, we could call it a day.
Yeah. That's what, Long John Silver's, just focus on what you're good at. The Little Crispies.
That's what your audience really wants. I don't want alternatives or the real thing.
Yeah.
I just want, which for some people, we wonder if Long John Silver's is the... It's the tuna of the Subway.
That's right.
It's all probably the same fish.
That's right. All of Long John Silver's is Subway tuna, but you can also argue that everything at Subway is pretty much falls under the Subway tuna category as well. Long John Silver's is really at the bottom of the board when it comes to fast food. It really is. But now the
Hudson,
thing is, though,
sometimes that's what you want.
That's true.
Sometimes you get a craving for the real bottom.
Yep. You need some grease and some beer batter. And that's all you need. That's all. I mean, that's pretty much what hush puppies are,
well,
really.
Ours are confusing here, too, because they're always attached to like a KFC or something else or an A&W.
That's the only thing keeping them afloat.
Pretty much, because I think you're going for the other place. Yeah. And it just counts all in the totals when you're not
They just keep like a couple of token fish sticks in the freezer and they can call it a Long John Silver's. Man, now there's if Long John Silver's is serving plant-based meat, there's no excuse for any of us.
What do you mean, to not try it?
Yeah,
or?
and we all, at this point, it's everywhere. And there's no way at Long John Silver's it's not affordable. So there's no way that any of us, we got to stop eating meat. We've got to stop killing the animals, stop killing the crabs, and give Long John Silver's, let's try this plant-based meat and see how could it be worse?
Well, Chelsea just texted, said, I think, the deep fried crispy pieces.
Yeah.
She said that I think she thinks they're on the menu as crumblies.
Okay.
So if you want to get them that way, you can see it. And then Jocelyn said the other day she saw an ad for plant-based pork rinds. So there's more.
Yeah, I have questions.
There's more options that you can have as alternatives.
And at the end of the day, there's no excuse. Whatever unhealthy food, and you think there's no possible way that they could recreate this with plants. Apparently they can.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Well, it certainly sounds nice for some people. Some people that can see anyways. Warby Parker, the well-known glasses website.
Yeah.
They were like one of the first. I remember when I worked at a restaurant, there was this woman that used to come in all the time, and she had a different pair of glasses every time.
And you noticed?
I didn't. Well, kind of, but one of the other employees did, and they were like, "What? Where do you get all those glasses? You have different ones every time." And she said Warby Parker, and that was when I first heard of it, and it stuck with me. I don't think I've ever purchased from Warby Parker, but they've got a lot of options for you, and
They've
now
been around for a while.
they have an option for you to completely skip going to the eye doctor if you want.
I thought even if you bought glasses online, you still had to have a prescription that you would put in.
You do have to have a prescription. And as I well know, it is a hassle trying to
get your updated prescription.
Yeah, get your prescription because they always still want to verify it with your doctor and stuff like. I think for mine because it's so extreme, they're like, "Are you sure this is real? You didn't just make this up?"
Your vision?
Yeah, like these aren't numbers that are normally supposed to be on this kind of thing. We don't make glasses that go this high.
So you're saying because you are looking for improvement for your vision, they want to make sure that they have the right
they get
numbers.
Suspicious. We normally only sell people glasses that can already see. So
you need to have the doctor behind it.
We only sell glasses to people that don't need them.
They say that eligible users, so I guess maybe that's the key, can renew glasses or contact lenses prescriptions in 10 minutes from an iPhone 6 or later.
Yeah.
The test does not require a computer, a credit card, or a ruler, which I don't have the last one, which sometimes people use when ordering glasses online to determine things.
To measure how far your eyes are apart or where the lenses for your glasses will actually focus so that they will be centered on where your eyes will be looking through.
Sure. The only requirement is you have to be between 18 to 65, no eye health concerns.
Yeah, that's where I lose. And I don't have an iPhone.
They see well with your current single vision distance prescription.
Yeah, I'm
so not bifocal or progressive lenses.
Yeah, if you can use this, man, I would be so excited. Because it is such a hassle. It should be easier to buy glasses online.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and again, take for what you will, that my prescription is very extremely high. I have horrible eyes. I would see better if I had an eye patch on both eyes.
Don't talk bad about your eyes. No, your eyes are great.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
They're growing. They're getting better.
They are, yeah.
Can eyesight get better?
Not without...
Not without help.
Hold on. You want to know how bad my eyes are? Seriously?
How bad?
I was like, when I was a kid, they said, yeah, when you turn 18, that's when your eyes kind of stop growing and your eyes are so bad. But the good news is you're a perfect candidate for LASIK.
Yeah.
And so for a while, it was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get LASIK because I don't want to deal with this anymore. And then like a while ago, I asked, could I get LASIK? And they're like, no, your vision is too bad.
So did you pass over the good part to where you had this window of time when you were younger? You could have
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It was always too bad?
Yeah. The only I've had how much do we want to get into my medical history here? I've had eye surgery before where they used a laser, but it was just to keep my vision from going bad, not to make it better.
Well, the problem is if we buy our glasses online, if you have glasses that are not the right prescription for you, it can make your eyesight worse.
And
so you want to have the right prescription for it.
And it makes sense. Here's a good example. With my wife, her prescription doesn't really change. She doesn't have horrible eyes. She just kind of needs glasses for a few things.
Yeah.
And yet, if you want to go buy new contacts or glasses, you can't just get them if your prescription is out of date. If it's over a year old, you have to still go through the trouble of going to an eye doctor and all that, which, it's probably a healthy, good thing to do once a year. But at the same time, you need to go through all that hassle just so you can buy a new pair of contacts or whatever. So if they will allow you to do this online, we're in the era of telehealth, telemedicine. Why do the people that can normally see have to go through so much trouble to buy their glasses?
So they're saying that if you use the Warby app for their glasses, and if you went ahead and had the vision test through them, it does go through a doctor. Like they'll still review your stuff, and it's only if you're just getting the same thing.
Yeah, right.
If
it's
you're
just
not worse, it's fine.
To renew your prescription only.
Anyone can underpromise and overdeliver, except these two. The Riot RadioU.
Yes, Hudson.
I don't know. I was just thinking of that bed. And then I started thinking of the old song by the Canadian rapper. His name was Snow.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that one? Informer?
I don't think so.
It wasn't a RadioU song, but it's like Informer.
Oh, wait.
You know what I'm talking about. He is Canadian, yeah. He was a one-hit wonder of the 90s. The pride of Canada. And everybody was surprised to find out if you heard the song and then you saw that it wasn't because it was kind of a reggae rap type song.
Sure.
And so everybody was surprised to find out that the guy was actually a white Canadian, not Jamaican or something. So anyways, Canada, I have Canada on the brain. Nikki, stop me when this sounds familiar. Canada has decided on an opening day for when you can come visit the country.
Oh, they're opening the borders.
Yes. And I feel that this is like the fourth time that they've done this at least, where they've set a date.
They've
set a date, and this time they're saying, no, it's really for real this time. You can really come visit Canada if you're American and fully vaccinated on August 9th.
So they say it's been about 16 months since they've banned people from entering Canada.
Yep, March 2020.
That's it. So August 9th, fully vaccinated citizens, they're starting with permanent residents of the United States first.
Right.
And then non-essential travelers from other countries is down the road.
Right.
But they're starting with this.
They say September 7th if you're from other countries. So August 9th, we can finally book our Canadian vacation. Where do you want to go first? Would you like to go to
I love Canada.
The Bay of Fundy? I've always wanted to go. I've never been to the Bay of the Bay of Fundy.
Is it fun or
it's what's cool about it is
how do you spell it too?
Fundy. It's where I think it's in New Brunswick, where the tides rise and fall so high that if you can stand in the middle of the ocean basically when the tide is at low tide.
Oh, really?
And then it goes up so high because so you can actually see what the ocean floor kind of looks like.
Well, I've always wanted to go to Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
I don't know. The funny thing is I've been to several Canadian provinces, but the ones that I haven't been to, for a lot of them, I have no idea what you would do there. I don't know what, unless you want to hunt things, I don't know what you would do in the Yukon or in Nunavut or the Northwest Territories. I don't know what's going on in Newfoundland. I just know there, it's like old fishermen there, but I don't know what you actually would do as a vacation. So unless we want to go to Niagara Falls or the Rocky Mountains and do some skiing, I don't know what kind of vacations we can plan for Canada.
I think most people are just wondering about seeing family.
Yes.
Or the Canadian side of Niagara Falls.
I'm excited because now family will finally be able to come. And need to talk to them. They may be planning a trip already. So looking forward to that.
August 9th for the Canadian border for permanent residents of the United States.
Fully vaccinated. You do need to be vaccinated.
So if you're not vaccinated, you still have to do the quarantine thing? Or you can't go?
I don't think they're going to let you in.
They're not going to?
It sounds like to me, which that's going to be... It's going to be a problem.
Well, it's only a problem if you're behind the person in front of you who has not finished their stuff.
We need to see some freak out videos from the border.
Oh, man,
I don't know if that's going to go well. Can you imagine going all the way? I'm sure this happened for some people on various vacations over the last year or so. You go all the way somewhere and then you find out, no, it's only if you are vaccinated, or previously it would have been only if you're temperature is low enough or whatever.
Did you see the Hawaii stuff from a while ago?
No, I don't think so.
So what would happen is if you didn't get your COVID test a certain way, like say you were at CVS and they wanted a Walgreens or something, if you weren't super specific, then some people would go to Hawaii, then you had to go back to like say Los Angeles or San Diego, get another test.
Oh, geez.
Then fly back again.
Yeah.
Or the problem would be if they would try to go to another island in Hawaii, and then that would count a whole new quarantine.
Oh my gosh.
Because it wasn't just Hawaii, all the islands. So you'd be stuck on that island, or you'd have to get a test while you were there and then wait to then go back, and not everybody knew all that stuff. So just be prepared if you're traveling.
Keep track of.
Yeah, you need
to really get the whole rundown of all the restrictions before you go.
Actually, you know what's best?
What's that?
I'm just not going.
Just staying home.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Well, this is good news. Coffee is good for us.
Every time we get one of these studies, there's always a study that, contradicts it. But I feel like for this one, especially since they're saying every cup that you add to it, it's like, all right, I guess I'll give this one a chance.
Starting to seem like they are just making up conditions that you can't actually get anyways, just to say coffee prevents them. You should drink it.
Well, they're saying in this case, it reduces the risk of heart arrhythmias.
Yes.
Which you would know if you had probably an arrhythmia, wouldn't you?
That's where, I don't know how different that is from an abnormal heartbeat, or maybe it's just a nicer or more scientific way of saying it. But I think it's where like your heart, it's literally your rhythm of your heartbeat that can get off somehow. But coffee is not the problem, they're saying, because it actually says, I really like this. That advice to cut down coffee to avoid arrhythmia is unfounded, they say.
Geez.
So, and they is the University of California. They're experts there, studied 386,000 plus participants for about 5 years.
That's a pretty good amount of people for a really long time.
And I just want to point out that I said the number correctly.
Did.
And they found this data with the help of the UK Biobank's collection of genetic and health data. And so through all of that, through all of the data that they combed through and all the participants of the study and everything, they found that coffee reduces your risk, or it not necessarily reduces. That's probably
That's too specific there.
Yeah, it can reduce your risk of heart arrhythmias. And with each additional cup per day, you reduce your chance by 3%. So if you drank 33 cups a day, you'd have a 0% chance.
Perfect heart.
Yeah, your heart would be... It would just be functioning so well.
Well, I think some of the concern is, and I don't know if anybody else gets that, but sometimes when you have too much coffee, you get really jittery.
Yeah.
And with jittery, or like if you're drinking energy drinks, like some of the big boy stuff, your heart can have it
feels like you can actually feel it sometimes.
Yeah, you feel like you have a heart arrhythmia at that point.
Yep.
So a lot of people get worried if you're having too much coffee. Now, they're not talking about energy drinks here.
Right.
But they worry if they're having too much coffee, is that causing that? And they're saying that that's what's unfounded, that it can have, in a surprising study, they can reduce the risk of heart arrhythmias.
Or, I mean, it's a lot of participants, so it makes it seem like the study is legit, as far as like sometimes we always have to be careful with studies because if they have a really small sample size, if there's only a few participants, if it's like 100 people, not necessarily indicative. But this is a lot of a lot of participants.
Plus, if your heart's still doing something when you're having too much coffee, and you don't have this, you might still want to take a look-see.
Yeah, it could be something else.
At what's going on if you're having too much coffee.
Or maybe it's not the coffee. Maybe the coffee isn't the problem, and maybe the coffee is just awakening you to another problem you have, and the coffee is just helping along with it.
I find studies and stuff fascinating. Or you had almost 400,000 people for 5 years.
Yeah.
What did they do? Did you get a free cup of coffee every week?
Are we sure nobody lied this whole time?
No,
so somebody's
not.
no, I didn't get a heart arrhythmia. No, definitely not.
No problem whatsoever.
Yeah. So there you go. Keep on drinking the coffee, and you'll be safe and sound, according to the University of California.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
We really live in a world where our personal brand feels so important. Just the list of things that you would put in your Twitter bio or people don't really fill out their TikTok bios except with their Venmo link. But your Twitter bio, your Instagram bio.
That's supposed to be a short way of saying everything about you.
Yeah, it's always the period is just like husband, dad, father.
Now pay me money.
Book author, and it's just and with that being so important, it feels that when you have a certain list of things, it prevents you from being included in the other certain list. Because you like Marvel, you can't like also DC. Because I'm Canadian, I can't also be American.
Yeah.
Because you have this one belief that maybe falls more in line with Democrats, you can't have another belief that maybe is actually more Republican. Maybe you can have some ideas that are both, and so we get stuck in these kind of silos of life, and we can also fall into, this thing is in my Twitter bio or Instagram bio, so I can't be a Christian. I can't have a relationship with God because those two things are completely incompatible. But the truth is that God is not writing off anybody because of their bio. Jesus isn't saying, this is the thing you think, this is the thing you've done, and so that means you can't be a part of the club. Jesus has the door open for everybody, so that no matter what your bio is, no matter what you've done, been through, identify with, whatever, Jesus is saying the door is open for you. I'm ready to be a part of your life. I want to. I love you. I care about you. And so I'm not going to write you off no matter what. Jesus wants you to come on in, to say, hey, God, I want you in my life, and then to go from there, to figure out everything else from there. The door is open to everybody. Jesus loves you no matter who you are, and he wants to be there for you. If you're ready for that, it's as simple as saying, hey, God, I want you in my life. I want to know more about you. I want to find out who you really are. So start talking to me. RadioU.com is a great place to start if you want to go to RadioU.com/free gift.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
All right, let's spread the love around here, or the hate maybe. We don't need to just focus on Taco Bell for constantly getting rid of their potato items. They're not the only ones.
That's what they're getting rid of?
Arbys is getting rid of some potato items as well.
Come on, I love potato stuff.
Well, they're keeping the curly fries, of course.
Why is potato stuff the expensive things for these places?
I don't know. It's maybe people just are moving on because it's unhealthy.
No, that's not it.
You don't think that's it?
Not if you're eating a Taco Bell and Arby's.
No,
that's not it.
I don't know, but Arbys is trying to streamline their menu, which this is comical because Arbys just recently added crinkle cut fries to their menu.
I've had them.
Yeah? And are they any good?
They're pretty good. Better than they had sweet potato fries. Better than that. Because the sweet potato fries, Arby's was like, let's burn them and then serve them to you.
Hey, they can be... they
would be chewy.
Yeah, sweet potato fries are actually hard to get right, I think.
Yeah.
They can be very, very finicky.
So this is Arby's, actually what they're saying, removing slower moving menu items. So think about also things that can take a little bit longer to make, or then also items that don't move for them, so they end up having a lot left over.
I think that's a lot of it, where these just aren't as big sellers. The potato cakes.
Oh, I used to love those.
Really?
But I haven't had them in a while.
I don't know if I've ever had a potato potato cake at Arbys,
What
to be
you
fair.
do is you get one of the roast beef sandwiches.
Oh, are you going to tell me?
Put the potato cake on
Yes.
and then put the bun right back on.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
It was pretty
But I think
good.
that could work good with the curly fries, too. That's
could
my
do
whole
that.
point with the crinkle cut fries. I just don't know why you've got curly fries that are so good.
Yeah.
Why would anybody at Arbys, you're pulling up to the drive-thru and you're like, I could get the curly fries, a tried and true favorite that are
Or-
always going to treat me well. You can count on Arbys to deliver on the curly fries. But no, I would like to try crinkle cut fries, an altogether inferior cut of fry and something that I have no faith in Arbys to get right.
Well, I am the person who'd
Yeah,
probably
you
order
did
the
that.
crinkle fries.
Wouldn't you have been happier if you got the curly?
I don't like the curly fries as much.
What?
Now, those are not going away.
No,
so
they're
don't-
not going away.
Don't panic. But basically, Arby's said they're getting rid of the loaded curly fries.
The loaded curly fries, which are quite good, but I guess they were quite good because now you can't get them. They're also getting rid of the pizza slider, ham slider, and loaded Italian sandwich, and all of the ingredients that would go on those things. And, the Capri Sun juice.
Oh, they're going with the
Yeah.
honest stuff.
Every place is going with the honest stuff now.
So that's the items that they're going to be taking away.
Yeah.
It just depends on which location you're at. But they say most places the ham and the potato cakes are already gone.
Yeah, but I didn't even know. Some places, some Arby's serve breakfast.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
A lot of times, especially if you're in an airport,
Okay.
if you're at an airport, I think the place is always required to have
really?
a breakfast.
Huh.
So even if your local fast food places don't serve you it there,
Yeah.
there's a mysterious breakfast floating around that almost every place has, like
Yep.
in its arsenal, because they have to in certain locations. They're required to provide
That's
it.
interesting you bring that up because for some reason I remember being kind of thrown for a loop that Auntie Anne's had breakfast items at an
why it's-
airport. Yeah,
it's at
that's
the
pretty
airport.
weird, huh?
They have to, otherwise they can't be there.
Yeah.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
through riot.radiou.com.